Hi, I'm Captain Jeff, the airline pilot guy, and you're listening to the Special Chronicles podcast with Daniel.
This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles show. My name is Daniel Markowski, and I'm the founder of Special Chronicles, a Special Olympics Southern Travel International Global Messenger, and a service ambassador at United Airlines in Chicago. This is episode 494, and season 3, a bonus episode of our Unified at Work series, which features conversations about the meaning of inclusive employment. The Unified at Work series is sponsored by Bridge, one of United's business resource groups that is connecting people of all abilities. Visit specialchronicles.com for links to follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And be sure to also to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, Special Chronicles, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. In addition to listening to this audio program, we hope that you also subscribe to our channel on YouTube to watch the live stream video episodes and sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com, links to subscribe and follow. Our guest this week is a couple guests this week on the Special Chronicles show and our Unified at Work series, as we welcome Hannah from United's Denver hub and Kyle from also from United's Chicago hub, as we present another Bridge Town Hall event where we, the three of us, Hannah, Kyle, and myself, talk about our experiences at Special Olympics 2022 USA Games that happened a few months ago, earlier this past summer. So we'll be featuring that full live Town Hall event on this episode.
This episode is brought to you by listeners like you. Please support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give. That's specialchronicles.com/give.
Hi, I'm Captain Jeff, the airline pilot guy,
roundtable
and you're listening to the Special Chronicles podcast with
about
Daniel.
our experiences at the 2022 Special Olympics USA Games right here on specialchronicles.com.
We're getting some of the slides up. Hi, everyone. Having a little sound issues here, but we'll get this going in just a moment here. We'll get the slide up. In the meantime, we'll start our safety briefing. Listen, most importantly, regardless of the event that's going on, you need to get to a safe space. So whether it's a weather event and you need to, hide out in a room without windows, or, there's a fire or something where you need to get outside, it's most important to just get yourself into a safe space. Be aware of your exits and your path out. In the event of an emergency, be prepared to call 911 and be ready to give your address. Know where you are, because that's the first thing they're going to ask you when the operator answers at 911. In the event of an active shooter, we know there's been a lot of events going on in the news recently. Please be safe. If you can get out, run and get yourself out of that situation. If you can't, get yourself to a safe place, hide. Turn your phone on silent and be in a quiet place. And in the event where you're not able to do either one of those, be prepared to fight. And that means throwing things, throw pens, whatever you have at that person so that you can distract them and disorient them. If you're in a place where you're required to wear a mask, we ask that you please do that. But most importantly, we ask that you do a wellness check on yourself and those around you. Some of you here have disabilities, some of you are taking care of people with disabilities, and some of you are just dealing with life. So make sure you're taking care of yourself, do a wellness check for yourself, and reach out with resources if need be, whether it's through your community or here at United. There's some fantastic resources available to you. For this event, We like to make this as inclusive as possible. So I'm going to describe myself if you can't see me. My name is Christine. I am a woman with brown curly hair and a white polo shirt. For those of you that can see but maybe can't hear or have difficulty hearing, we do have captions available on this live Teams event. Just go into your video controls and turn your captions and subtitles on. And I will drop that in the chat as well. Feel free to drop any questions that you have for us in the chat. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jill.
Hey, and this time I'm going to actually unmute myself. I am so sorry. The welcome, somebody has to do it throughout the meeting, so why not me right from the very beginning? So sorry about that. And we're happy to have you. I'm so excited. This is an amazing day. We have some great guests and a huge announcement. So I just want to start a little first, just to remind everybody what Bridge is. And it's really important to us. There's a really passionate group of people throughout the company that work on behalf of employees and all of our customers with disabilities. We work through every disability and on pretty much nonstop. So if you have anything that you've seen out in the operation or within your department that needs to be addressed, please let us know. We are addressing those type of things and helping them get fixed on a regular basis. So bridge@united.com is the go-to for that, and we get it to the right people. So basically our overall commitment is to advocate, educate, and connect all employees and customers. So we work with the government affairs team. We work with internal departments to make sure we're making people aware of what the emails that you're sending us. Basically, we want to empower United Airlines to become the #1 airline for disabilities and make it the most inclusive place to work as well. So we do a lot of these town halls. Of course, we work individually with a lot of people. We engage in the community. We're going to talk about some things there as we go through the day. And then really in order to connect, we're doing a number of things across the board in the community. Like I said, we're going to talk about those with some of the plane pulls and things coming down, but also we're starting and really been working for several months now on how to recruit folks with disabilities. And that's going to be one of the focus points of Bridge for this year. And it's really important. So we're working with different universities, different organizations, and also internally about where you or someone in your organization might be able to work with somebody of any type of disability. So we're looking for everybody to give ideas. We're looking for both inside and outside the company, and it's really important that we all work together in that, because I think there are a lot of opportunities, and it's going to take everybody, especially on this call. If you've signed in here, you have a passion for this stuff, and we appreciate that. But we also need your help in identification of positions, identifying of people, and combining those two with United Airlines. So that'll be great. And we're always willing to go on any of the other town halls and just give a 2-5-minute little spiel about what Bridge is. And a lot of that has really escalated the profile of Bridge, and that's the idea. We want to make sure everybody at the company knows there's an opportunity for to answer these type of questions. All right, the biggest, most exciting thing that's happened for us in the last while, we are first of all so thankful to Luke Bonder and all of the amazing work that he did with Bridge and the way that he supported us. And he is on to other things, and we're excited. He's still said he's always available to help in any way. But we have a new executive sponsor, and I am just so proud that he's with us today. Steve Restivo, his day job is the Vice President of Global Corporate Communications, but now he has been working with us for a couple weeks, and he already has amazing ideas. And I'm just going to hand it right over to Steve. Steve, thanks for being with us, and I'm going to hand it over to you.
Super. Thank you, Jill. Good afternoon, everybody. It is great to be here with you all. And there's a full agenda today, so I don't want to get in the way of any of that. But just by way of background and introduction, so I'm Steve Verstevo. I've been with United for now nearly 3 years. I head up our employee communications, our crisis communications team, and our public relations team at United. So I have the pleasure of directing a lot of the folks and leading some of the work to essentially tell our story internally and externally. With work within the work happening at Bridge and under the category of accessibility across our airline, because there's just so much tremendous work happening across the people that are leading this team, and then all the folks who are tuning in who obviously have a passion and interest in this area. I just think about the potential of this scope of work for all of us moving forward. You know, Scott talks a lot about leading the way and being a force for good. And to me, this work sits right at the center of all of that, because it just has the potential to continue to inspire our employees, be a point of differentiation for our airline. And to Jill's point, just having us be the best and brightest when it comes to providing services for people with disabilities. So I won't take up any more time. If folks have questions or comments, I'm always around, but really excited about joining, about today's agenda, and just look forward to working with you all more closely moving forward. Thank you, Jill. I appreciate it.
Steve, it's great to have you. I made the mistake of not introducing myself for those that can't see us, so I will go back, and I've really blown this whole intro thing today. I apologize, everybody. It's just such an exciting day. Wait till you see the guests that we have, and then you'll understand why I keep missing stuff. But anyway, blonde hair, definitely on the older side, green eyes, and I usually have a pretty big smile on my face, especially when we're talking about this stuff. All right. I'm going to have another huge privilege today to introduce our 3 panelists. So I'm going to send this slide back over. And first of all, for you guys know him and you love him, Daniel Markowski. He is one of our board members at Bridge. He is a integral part of everything we do. It's so great to have him with us, you know, every week, giving us insight and understanding as to how we can help and change and just really change the world in this space. But with him today, he has 2 of his very, very special friends, and they have together. I'm going to, first of all, Daniel, he is a Special Olympics Sergeant Schreiber International Global messenger. That is a spectacular thing. It's like a needle in a haystack with all of the Special Olympics. I'm going to show you some pictures later on about how many people are involved in Special Olympics, but very few of them are chosen to be these messengers. And we have two of them that work with us at United Airlines, one in Chicago and one in Denver. And the second one is with us today, Hannah Atkinson. She is also a messenger for Special Olympics. And I'm going to let them tell you all about how amazing that is and what they get to do and how important the work is that they do. And our third guest today, Kyle Tookie, he is an amazing person. He's actually in Chicago as one of our SOSA members, our Special Olympics Service Ambassadors, which all 3 of these folks are. They greet people, and I'll let them tell a little more about what they do, but they work very hard as a full-time employee at United Airlines. And Kyle was a spectacular athlete just this summer at the USA Special Olympics Games. And with that, I'm going to, let's see, I can share 1 or 2 more pictures of just all of them together. First, here's one of what the Special Olympics Games, you know, the flyer for that in Orlando. And there you see Daniel on the right and Hannah in the middle. And we just picked the one of Christine and I because that is who has been talking so far. Anyway, I'm going to actually hand it right over to Daniel now. Daniel, I know you're going to do a better job at all this than I am. So you're the professional. I'm going to hand it right to you. And thank you for being here. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you, Joe. We all had a great time at the USA Games last month, beginning of June. June 5th through the 12th is when we were there in Orlando, Florida. And for those of you that might not know, there were more than 5,000 athletes and coaches from all 50 states in the Caribbean that attended the USA Games. There were 20,000 volunteers and 125,000 spectators during one of the country's most cherished sporting events. We all have reasons to shine for Special Olympics athletes like Kyle and Hannah and myself. One of those reasons is the love of sport. Special Olympics athletes display remarkable abilities not only on the field but in all areas of life, like in the workplace, like what we do here at United as service ambassadors. By celebrating the dedication and perseverance, we become champions of a more inclusive world, a world where we all shine as one. And we'll begin by having, since I gave you a little background of what the USA Games were, we'll go to Kyle and Hannah and have you share with us, from your perspective, what are the USA Games and why are they so important to Special Olympics. We'll go to Hannah first and then Kyle. So, Hannah?
Sounds good, Dan. Thank you so much for the introductions. What the USA Games is about the level of sport, but it's also about the athletes too. Special Olympics athletes, to be corrected. So what they do for Special Olympics, for the USA Games, is that they compete at their best level possible. They train twice as hard as anybody else on the planet. I know that seems to be very biased, but I know that's very true, that they train very hard and they practice every day. Like Kyle, practice for his gymnastics competition as well, too. So I know it takes a level of practice, being comfortable on the stage and just, performing at their best selves and just enjoying the process and listening to their coaches. And that's usually what USA Games is kind of about. It's not just about having fun, doing something that you love to do, but something that you can get physically fit too. And that's another aspect about the USA Games, is they can also be physically fit and have a good mindset to attend, USA Games, basically. And I had a great time being at the USA Games in Orlando, and I just thought it was just very magical and historic, and I believe that Daniel would agree with that too. Yes. So, yeah.
Yes, I will. And Kyle, you want to tell us your perspective? What are the USA Games and why are they so important?
Yeah, I do. So, I will say, Hannah, you are definitely right. The USA Games are about being fit. And that is what Fit 5 is, which is something, the 5 levels, and there's all these booths about, like, just health-wise. It's being healthy. And then to the competing level, it's about being there for your team and being the best teammate that you can. And also, I want to say the USA Games is about having something to work for and putting everything you work for to use. So I worked I did gymnastics for 20 years, and I tried out as a gymnast for Team Illinois for the past 4 years. So it was a phenomenal experience, and it was cool because you meet new friends from all over the place, and you shine as one.
Yeah, we do shine as one. And so we'll hear a little bit more from you, Kyle, in a moment. But first, we'll bring Hannah back on. And Hannah, as Jill mentioned, we're both Southern Shriver International Global Messengers, and that's why we attended the USA Games, doing trainings and going to receptions. And Hannah, do you want to share maybe a highlight of what you did as an SSI GM when we were down at USA Games? And then I'll...
Yes. That'll be totally cool. Yes, Dan. So thank you for putting that out. And we definitely had many highlights. And that's very true that we had an enjoyable time there. But one of my highlights in the Summer World Games at Orlando was doing the CDC videos that I did, along with the videos that I did when I dealt with COVID. I know that it was not my best highlight of the USA Games, but that's just life. When you have COVID and you have to do videos for like the CDC, that was pretty cool, and other Special Olympics athletes, that was pretty awesome. And I also really like doing the Healthy Athletes Tour with Renee. Renee Manfredi is another Southern Shriver International Global Messenger too, as well with you and I, Daniel. Yep. And I enjoyed doing the Healthy Athletes Tour with her. That was a highlight of mine. And I enjoyed doing the Healthy Athletes ribbon cutting with Nia Asha. And that was something that I would always remember. And those are a lot of highlights right there. Yeah. I can go on and on all day long about my highlights. So I'll let you talk about your highlights.
Okay.
Dan.
Yeah. I'll talk about some of my highlights. And for people on the screen, one of the pictures you see on the screen is with Nasha and me, with Joe and Christine. And then you also see a picture of Hannah and I in the middle with our mentors when we went to Animal Kingdom. But one of my highlights, so like Hannah mentioned, Renee is another SSI GM, and she and I did a unified leadership training, introduction training to what unified leadership is all about. And we presented that to a few Coca-Cola employees. And we shared all stories of inclusion and both in the workplace and in Special Olympics, and the Coca-Cola employees were really engaged. And then another thing I did was a bunch of podcast interviews on the Orlando Daily Show, which is on Special Chronicles. And one of those interviews I did was with Joe, and so you can find that on specialchronicles.com, and you can watch that interview that we did, but then there was a lot of other interviews that I did, and we also had a lot of fun moments. We watched the surfing finals. Hannah and I went to Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom. That was kind of more of a fun part of our experience, because when the USA Games are at Disney, then you've also got to have some fun as well. So now let's switch over to Kyle. And Kyle, people see that you're wearing some of the medals that you received down at the USA Games. So do you want to talk about what it was like to compete, and I think we see a gold medal there and a bronze medal that you're wearing. You're going to tell everyone about and show everyone those medals and what gymnastics events that you got those in.
So actually these are only 2 of my 7 medals. I got 3 golds and I got 4 bronze. And what I got them in was I got gold in reens, vault, and high bar, or also known as horizontal bar. And then I got 3rd in everything else. So I got bronze in every other event. But it's not about the awards, it's about like the relationship that you build with these people that you work and practice with for like a year prior to the event. So it's like, what I will say is I've made more friends at the USA Games, and we've got so close to the point where I'm actually going to fly down and visit one of the guys from Florida.
Awesome.
Because we just have, yes, it's one thing to compete, but like to just build that relation with another person that you never met before, and for it to happen in a week, I think that's what is so amazing. The interaction that you make with these people who you may have never seen until you started training with them.
Yeah. Neat. We'll hear from you again, Kyle, in a moment, but we'll bring Hannah back on. And Anna, what's next after the USA Games? I know as SSI Games, we have another global event coming up next year in June 2023. You want to tell everybody about what's coming up after USA Games? So in about a year from now?
I'm so sorry about that. I realized that my face was frozen on the screen, so you might have to repeat everything again later on to me, Daniel, which is totally fine. One of the things that is coming up next for me and Daniel, we'll be going to the Berlin Games. So that's the World Summer Games in Berlin, Germany. I'm super excited to go. So that'll be something that I'm really looking forward to going and doing that too with Daniel and Renee and Freddie, who is also a certain Cycle International Group of Master Control. And with Ni Isha, he is actually from Zimbabwe as well. So we're all going to be going to Berlin World Games in Germany in 2023. And then it's going to be something worthwhile, and that'll be the end of our 5-year SSIGM term, sadly. But at least we did all the important things and went to Orlando together, and that was just something that was just incredible of an experience. And I'm not sure what else that's going to happen in the next year or two. But I do know that we can definitely look forward to going to Berlin World Games. So that'll be pretty exciting. We don't have the plan yet. They're still working on a plan right now for the Berlin World Games too. So hopefully we have the plan and the logistics and the details regarding that trip to Berlin. Because I didn't see anything yet, unless if you saw anything on that either, Dan.
No, I haven't. And for everyone to know that the last World Games that we attended was in 2019 in Abu Dhabi. So these will be the second World Games that we'll be attending as Southern Survival International Global Messengers, and it's a excellent opportunity for everybody to see across the globe. Special Olympics athletes competing from all across the globe, and I'm excited that Hannah and I and our fellow SSI GMs will all be together again in Berlin in June 2023. So I'm sure in Denver and Chicago and a lot of our airports will have send-off events that you all can look forward to next. I don't have the dates in front of me right now, but next June 2023, you all can look forward to as we send off our Special Olympics USA team to Berlin, Germany next June. So before we go to questions, we'll kind of wrap up this part of the panel with what we would like everyone to know about Special Olympics. We'll go to Kyle and then Hannah, and then I'll kind of wrap up with my response before we get to any questions from the audience. But Kyle, what would you like everyone to know about Special Olympics and USA Games?
So about Special Olympics, I'm sure you already know, it's all nonprofit, so which means donate if you have when you see would you like to donate to Special Olympics at the store, please do it, because all that money goes to the athletes. And then for USA Games, I'm excited that from what I've heard from the athletes' perspective, I gotta tell you guys, they are doing it. Yes, some events are going to be, most of the events will be in Berlin, but they are doing artistic gymnastics in Amsterdam. So, artistic gymnastics is in Amsterdam in August for 9 days, and that I do not have the exact dates yet for that.
Okay. And Hannah, what would you like everyone to know about Special Olympics and the USA Games?
Well, of course, Danny, thank you. And so sorry about the mishap about posting face on the phone here. But anyways, what Special Olympics is about to me is that it's more than a movement. Well, it's more than a sports organization. We all know that. It's definitely a sport organization. Everybody knows that by now. And what people don't know about Special Olympics is it's more than a sports organization. It's more like a movement, if you will. Me and Daniel actually spreads the message of inclusion revolution. And I will step up nothing to keep spreading the inclusion revolution for the rest of my entire lifetime, because that's true. And so with that being said and done, too, I just think it's highly needed, and please just join us, like volunteer, donate, be an athlete yourself, support an athlete like Kyle, Daniel, and me. We are pretty interesting people on going to the USA Games and then, being involved in Special Olympics. And I view Special Olympics as like a second family to me. And I have said that 100 million times in every speech that I can ever imagine, to say that Special Olympics is like a second family to me. And so for me, I like the quote and the athlete oath in Special Olympics. And that is, let me win. If I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. And yes, I memorized that oath. It took me some time to practice that oath, but I finally figured that out. So right on. on the athlete oath for Special Olympics. And I just think that's just, if Tim Schleifer was on here right now, and I know that you know him too, Dan, on Tim Schleifer, I bet he will be super thrilled and super stoked and very enriched by having us to be part of this town hall meeting today and talking about Special Olympics, because that's been his life since his mother first founded it. And I view Jonas Kennedy Schleifer as an influencer and as an uniter. So hopefully we can unite and be kind of together once again and rise up and just show everybody's talents and successes and learn from one another. And that's what Special Olympics really is very inclusive, very welcoming and accepting of all. And I just think it's like the favorite thing that we can all be passionate about. And I know that I have a passion to that. I know that Kyle has a passion to that. I bet you have a passion to that too, Jill. And I know, hands down, without a question, that Danny will not at all argue with me on that fact.
No, I echo everything that you said, Hannah, and everything that you said, Kyle. And what I want everyone to know about Special Olympics is when you come see us compete, when you come see us at our events, there's a lot more that we can do. When you really join the inclusion revolution, like United has done with hiring us, you really get to fully accept us, fully love us, fully include us. When you come see us work in Chicago, Denver, Houston, more hubs to come, you really get to and see the joy that we bring to the workplace. There's a lot more that we can do that goes beyond the sports field. And that's what I hope that you all have learned on this town hall, that we all have amazing gifts that we're able to really show if you just give us a chance. And one other note I want to mention to you, in a couple weeks, Hannah and I will be, along with Renee for SSIGM, we'll be writing blogs about our experiences at USA Games that you can all read on specialolympics.org. I think that's where you can read our blogs. And we will be showing we'll be going into a little bit more detail about our experiences at USA Games on our blogs that Special Olympics posts on their website. And so now, I don't, Jill, do we have any questions from the audience, or to turn it back to you?
We do have a bunch of questions, but first, Daniel, Hannah, Kyle, you guys are so wonderful. You are like family to us. I will tell you, there is one word that I have learned from meeting these wonderful people, and it's exceptionalities. So everybody has their own exceptionalities, and I will tell you some of their exceptionalities will light up your world. You think you're helping by donating and being a part of Special Olympics, and I will tell you, this year we were only able to send 2 folks down to Orlando to support, but I hope in the future we're going to have entire huge teams going with us down there, because it was just a spectacular event. It will change your life. It will change your life to see the joy and the camaraderie and the whole motto about if you can't win, just be brave in the attempt. And they live it. It's not just a motto, right, Hannah? It's just everybody lives that motto and they support each other. And I will tell you, it's just one of the most phenomenal things that you can attend. So thank you for what you're doing. I'm going to throw a question out to Daniel first. Daniel, can you explain how amazing just like being the messenger for Special Olympics? how many people get to do that, and compared to how many people are in Special Olympics?
So as Southern Shriver International Global Messengers, there are 10 of us in our class of SSI GMs. Hannah and I are just two on the call right now, but there's a ton of us that get the opportunity to be Southern Shriver International Global Messenger. And those, we should know this, but I think there's over 5 million athletes across the globe. And so out of over 5 million athletes, it's a big honor for Hannah and myself and our fellow SSI GMs to really speak on the global level and to be Southern Shriver International Global Messengers. So it's a big honor, and we're excited for all the opportunities that we have to either do unified leadership trainings, to speak at healthy athletes like Hannah was talking about, and all different types of events that we get to attend or speak at or MC.
Daniel, you spoke of the training that you were integral in getting teaching this year, and United was so lucky to be a part of it. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the Unified Leadership Training is an opportunity where at Special Olympics we get to teach different partners like United. When we were down in Orlando, we did the same type of thing with Coca-Cola, and that's where we get to have different people understand what it means to what it means to take inclusion into their workplace, into their community, and so people understand a little bit more about the history of Special Olympics, but then also about what inclusion means and how you can bring what we call unified leadership or inclusive leadership into United, into Coca-Cola, into your community. So it's an excellent training opportunity, and I know when we did it at USA Games, a lot of Coca-Cola and employees were really engaged and really got a lot out of it, and I'm sure. I think, Joe, you and I don't know how many other people from Bridge or United took part in that when we did it. I forgot when we did it, but I think I think you all got a lot out of the Unified Leadership Training as well.
We certainly did, and we're looking forward to the next one. I hope that everybody on here is able to join at some point, because they do a phenomenal job in just giving us a lot of understanding of how important this work is, how important, just being inclusive and understanding how to bring it back with you to work in your daily life. So it was a great training. All right, I have a question for you, Kyle. You ready? What do you enjoy most, from Grace Harris, I should say, what do you enjoy most about being a SOSA? And SOSAs, as you probably figured out by now, is a Special Olympics Service Ambassador here at United Airlines.
I enjoy working with the agents at the gate and in the lobby, and just greeting the people and having that nice welcoming interaction.
I love it. And Hannah, I'm going to ask you the same thing.
Right on. No worries. So one of my favorite things about working with United Airlines is like the best thing that has ever happened to my lifetime. I know that seems to be far-fetched, but it's true. My favorite part is working at Seven West, and not just working at Seven West, but I also enjoy working with the passengers and talking with them, even though those emails takes forever to look through, which I get tons of emails on a day-to-day basis on United Airlines. I don't mind it. I love emails. But that alone, it takes me forever to look at them. So that's pretty good. I also like to bake take a lot. That was pretty fun. I like to do other things, like for instance, meeting with Paula. Paula is actually one of my favorite supervisors here in Denver, Colorado. And I'm paid to see her. So yes, I'm paid to see Paula and Helene and my colleagues as well. And I think it's pretty cool that I can hang out with them. And it's kind of nice to work with people that you like. That's for sure. I also like working in FIS too. So the International Recheck area is also one of my favorite places to be as well. And I do like those lessons, but I won't say they are my main highlight, only because it takes me forever to do those lessons, but everybody has to do them, which I'm okay with. But I wish we don't have to do like tons of lessons, because we don't have all day either to be behind a computer screen, and we don't have all day to have passengers out either, because we also have something called personal lives. Right, Dan?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I'm glad you still have personal lives. It's really important, and you guys are busy people. I interact with you a lot, and I know how busy you are. I have another question for you. So we mentioned it a few times. Shine as one. It's one of my favorite new sayings. But shine as one. Can you tell me what that means? Hannah, why don't you start, since you're still on the screen? Can you tell us what that means to you and where it came from? Give us a little background if you can.
I'll give you as much detail as you want, Jill. I am very detailed. Please stop me if I overtalk. So what shine as one means to me. So what it means to me is that we are shining as stars in the galaxy. That's what it means to me, is that we are shining in the stars of the galaxy of this world. That means that we come alive, Every one of us comes alive when we do something incredible and have the feeling of appreciation in life. For me, I love the appreciation of life. I love living my life to the fullest. I'm one of these stars that is, risen up in the heavens, which I believe that's true as well. Everybody is good at something, but let alone people surprise you on a day-to-day basis. And hopefully by the end of the day, I will surprise, not just you, Jill, but I might also surprise Daniel too. I know that seems kind of odd, but I always want to impress Daniel because he is an interesting man. Not saying that I have any biased thoughts to that thought, but I just wanted to make it clear that we can all, be very impressive and try to, enjoy what we love to do. And, I think, it's true that we, shine as one. And I believe that everybody has a voice. I remember way a long time ago when I survived cancer and what have you, I thought I wouldn't be able to live either. And after that, I was kind of afraid that nobody will like me the way that I am. And the only people that accepted me was my family, my friends, and my community too. I had some genuine friends, but I made some ungenuine friends too. But I like the friends I have now who are all genuine. And Daniel is one of them. And of course, Kyle. And Bella alone, I don't see you on a day-to-day basis, Kyle, but I do work closely with Daniel. And so I can speak on that behalf there, but I won't speak for Dan. But, I think it's pretty cool that we can be together and just, do things that everybody else is dreaming about. And one of my favorite dreams that I haven't experienced yet, but I want to experience, nobody knows this yet, is that I want to compete when I am 30 years old in 2025 in Italy in cycling. So yes, I want to compete when I'm 30 years old in Italy for the Summer World Games. I never, in a long shot, attended a World Games and compete in one before. I have been to World Games just as a portal and as an exercise GM, yes. But for my athletic side, however, I haven't competed in the World Games. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in 2025, that I'm able to compete in 2025. I know that's a side note, but hopefully that is defining a little bit more of the structure of Shine as one. So hopefully that answers that question for you, Jill.
Hannah, you are such an inspiration. Oh my gosh. We're just so lucky to just be in the same space as you. Thank you for that. Thank you for the inspiration. I'm going to go to Daniel and ask him the same question. What does Shine as One mean? Like in conjunction with Special Olympics and in your regular life?
Great question, Joe. So what Shine as One means to me, I agree with everything that Hannah said, but what I think it means, and we saw it all displayed all over the USA Games when we were in Orlando, and what I think Shine as One means is that we all have the chance to compete. We all have the chance to work, to go to school, to be part of society, to be part of our communities. I think it fits in a lot with the inclusion revolution that we talked about earlier. It's really, it's not just a few words put together, but what overall what Shine as One means is that we all have a chance to be fully included and to be part of society, and when we all work together and don't look at the disabilities that we have, when you don't look at the disabilities that Hannah and myself and Kyle and the other athletes have, we're able to fully be able to more fully shine as one society, as one community, as one society. So I think that's overall what I think Shine as One means.
I love it. It's a good example. And you know what, Kyle, I think we have you back only on audio, but not video. What do you think about it?
So Shine as One, to me, I think what they're trying to tell us is no matter what you have, like, we are all one. We are all one team. It doesn't make you different. We're all the same.
Absolutely.
And no matter as how much the disability might affect you, you are just as important as the other people. And that's what Shine as One means to me.
Kyle, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And we're coming up to the end of our hour. So I just want to do one more huge thank you to Kyle, Hannah, and Daniel. You all are wonderful. You're inspiring. You are just, I love that you're part of our company and really part of our family. And we just couldn't have been more blessed to have that happen. So thank you for that. We are going to use the last few minutes just to go over a couple of the events that are coming up, a couple to support Special Olympics and a few other things that we're up to. But next week, just so you know, is the National Disability Independence Day. That's July 26th. And it's a really a big deal for a lot of us in this community because it was the day that they signed the Americans with Disabilities Act. There's a lot of things going on with the government. You might have read a couple of the bills that are coming up or have happened recently. We're more than happy to talk more about that. Probably do it on another town hall, though. But really, on July 26th, if you guys could all just, honestly, just take a minute, think about how you're a part of this conversation, how you're a part of this community, and how you can help. There's so many different ways. I heard Hannah say, you can do anything. You can be a coach. You can be somebody that funds it. You can have, just go participate, go watch. It'll change your life. So I'll encourage you to do that. Next, we do have some upcoming events with Bridge specifically. We are so fortunate that United has become the presenting sponsor. Unfortunately, this year we can only do it at 2 hubs, is what I understand. And before we have done it at many hubs, and it's been a little bit bigger. But because of funding, we are limited to the 2 hubs this year. So what we're doing is we're going to do a system-wide throughout all of United to do a fundraiser to support these local athletes and support the program of Special Olympics. That's our major focus from the company to support that. So if you're interested, please, you can just drop your name. There's actually 2 forms. If you're interested in starting a team, just put your name on the form and say you want to start the team. If you want to just do it as an individual, we have some teams through Bridge where we want to work with you to do that. And if you want Bridge to, leading up to these events, if you want us to present on your town halls, let us know. We're going to try to do a big push to do most of that in September, leading into the beginning of September, so we can lead up to those. I think Christine's on here. Do you want to drop the form in the chat for everybody to see, or the question and answers? I don't know if they'll be able to see that.
But it's in the chat there, Jeff.
Oh, all right. She's always ahead of me. Thanks, guys. And then the last thing, it was really an honor to have Daniel on today, but I have to say he's famous. He's really famous. And Daniel, how many Special Chronicle podcasts do you have at this point?
So over 400. I've technically done over 500, but I know we're coming up on the 500th official episode this November for celebrating 14 years that I've been podcasting on Special Chronicles.
Wow, that's a lot of work. But I will tell you, he's interviewed Oscar. He's interviewed Toby Inquist. He's interviewed. Tell me who your favorite people are, real quick.
Those were probably some of my favorites from United. But I've also had on Tim Shriver, who I know Hannah had mentioned. Tim is the chairman of Special Olympics. And actually this week I'll be broadcasting that live conversation that I had with Tim. But yeah, I've had a lot on. I know Hannah and Renee, Renee is one of the other SSI GMs that we've mentioned. Both of them have been on a number of the podcasts, and yeah, and then the other SOSAs, I'm working on trying to record Houston SOSAs coming up shortly, but we've had the other SOSAs on, and tons of content for people to go out.
Tons of people. Well, I'm gonna tell you, if you want to get to know our SOSAs, all of them across the hubs, I will say tune in to Daniel's Special Chronicles, because it's really in depth, and get to know them individually. And then when you see them in the airport, you can ask them about something special in their lives. You'll know all about it. I'm going to hand it. Steve, do you want to come back on and just wrap us up and say goodbye? And we'll look forward to the next month.
Super. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, all the presenters. This is really terrific and I would say inspiring to participate in. So great session, team. Thanks for putting it together. Thanks for all the folks who tuned in. And I think we're open for business in terms of agenda suggestions too. So folks who tuned in today want to see things in the next session, you've got a way to reach out and get in touch with us. So thank you all for joining. This was terrific to be part of. And thank you all again for the time.
Hi, I'm Captain Jeff, the airline pilot guy, and you're listening to the Special Chronicles podcast with Daniel.
Support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. As an independent public media podcast, Special Chronicles will always be there for you. Now we're asking you to be there for us. As a nonprofit independent media organization, we can only make programs like Special Chronicles with listener support. Our programs provide weekly, candid, honest, and inspiring conversations about the people with disabilities community that creates awareness, support, and advocacy within each week's episode. Listeners tell us our shows are an enjoyable and necessary podcast for the intellectual and developmental disability community and everyone else who is able to listen to stories about life from a different angle. Please, if you and your family love our weekly podcast, make a one-time, monthly, or annual gift of thanks today. Support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give. That's specialchronicles.com/give. Support for Special Chronicles comes from ComEd. Special Chronicles is proud to partner with the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program. The Energy Force is the country's first energy efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. ComEd is powering lives, and really is powering us here at Special Chronicles to keep the lights on and our technology is powered on. As ComEd powers the lives of us, they are literally giving a voice to people with special needs. We thank ComEd for the generous support of our mission at Special Chronicles. Learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles Shows podcast. Visit specialchronicles.com to follow Special Chronicles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified of new episodes. Also, subscribe to our newsletter mailing list to sign up for our updates and get exclusive content delivered to your inbox. Remember to do what you do with these podcasts. Subscribe or follow and rate and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Finally, please share this episode and all of our podcasts with your friends and family. Help us grow our audience and reach 5,000 downloads of our audio podcasts and over 14,000 average monthly listeners. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week with exciting new guests. See you next week.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.